Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. Well, here I am, back at Birds of Prey yet again. I know. So there are still things going on with Birds of Prey, and in this case, we're talking about Cathy Yan and how she pitched the film. Apparently it was to smash the patriarchy, because, well, we all know that needs smashing. Not that it's already been smashed or never existed in the first place. Well, at least not for maybe nearly 100 years. But still, let's have a read of this article on Bounding into Comics. So it says, Birds of Prey director Cathy Yan reveals she pitched Birds of Prey as a film to smash the patriarchy. Woo! The patriarchy, the boogeyman that haunts every woman's dreams. Just waiting to jump on her and drag her back down and show her that glass ceiling that she can never actually achieve. But she can aspire to it, but the patriarchy will knock her back down. Slap! Take that, womanhood. Don't you dare get ideas above your station. This is probably no doubt what Cathy Yan was thinking, but let's have a read of the article and see what it actually says. So, Birds of Prey, based on a read of the script by Ewan McGregor, has been frequently called a feminist film. Oh, God, even the idea of feminist films is just sickening. Society is so fucked up. Director Cathy Yan revealed her vision for it wasn't far from that mark. As a matter of fact, she wanted to, in her own words, make girls want to smash the patriarchy and display the worst of modern womanhood. We've seen the worst of modern womanhood. You can find it on YouTube all over the place. It's a sad, sad state of affairs involving pussy hats and women's marches and not giving a shit about the state of womanhood in the East. Because no one cares about women in Muslim countries and how they would love to stop wearing veils and headscarves and all this bullshit and be allowed to drive cars and, go out with their friends and not have a male accompany them. But that's something for their dreams. It's just what they would like to have happen. What they have in reality is oppression. I know this directly from information given to me by someone who lived through this for most of their life. So I understand the problems that are assaulting women in Muslim countries, but these are not Western problems. No matter how these people like to try and frame it that way. I find it absolutely pathetic. But still, let's carry on reading. Yan, who only directed one other movie before being hired for Birds of Prey, detailed in a new interview with The New Yorker how she pitched the film reel to Warner Brothers. I put together a sizzle reel, but it was not your typical sizzle reel. Yan says she put together a reel of clips from the ABC reality show The Bachelor, a De Beers commercial, and President Trump's infamous comments recorded by Access Hollywood. Yan's reel played to the tune of a remixed version of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, a song Harley sings in the movie. Dressed as Marilyn Monroe was in Gentlemen's Prefer Blondes, she stated, like scenes from Bachelor, Proposals, the De Beers Diamonds commercial, Kim Kardashian's vampire facial, Fox News anchors talking about women, Trump saying grab 'em by the pussy, stuff that might make a girl want to smash the patriarchy. After I showed the video, there was just silence. I can imagine there was. They're all thinking, what the hell are we watching this for? What has this got to do with us making this movie? What the fuck have comic books got to do with this? Oh, if only comic books had nothing the fuck to do with this sort of thing. Marvel can attest to the fact that no one gives a shit about their comic books anymore. The cinematic universe is doing pretty well, but from what I've heard, that's to be very short-lived. We'll see how it goes with the new Woke Widow film. Let's hope it's not a Woke Widow film and it's actually a Black Widow film, but you never know, because it started well with Black Widow, but you know how Marvel is. They want to steal your money off you, and they want to try and pump up their comic book sales and say, yeah, look, we've sold this many, not just shipped this many to people that didn't want them. But let's not get distracted. So let's just read a bit further because, maybe these poor people who were sat there in silence were thinking, wow, fantastic. That was amazing. We can't wait to see the film that you're going to make, which is possibly what they were thinking since they actually made the film. They actually gave the go-ahead for giving her the money to make the film. But they're regretting that now, because they probably thought to themselves, man, I could have used that money to buy myself another mansion. Damn, what was I thinking? Hookers and coke don't grow on trees, Anyway. Screenwriters agreed that Birds of Prey might inspire girls to smash the patriarchy, saying that feeling definitely made its way into the movie, as the plot follows Harley and the other women fighting back against the dangerous men who control Gotham City. Well, they're really fighting one dangerous man, really, aren't they? And that's Black Mask, a self-confessed supervillain. So basically just one of the people involved in controlling Gotham City, and possibly not even one of the biggest people involved in controlling Gotham City. Just this rich, whiny, pathetic idiot. Still a more interesting character than virtually all of the women that were in that film. Serena Untarded. Plus, a large portion of Harley's story focuses on her emancipation from the Joker, whom she has just broken up with. Harley and Joker's relationship has always been toxic, and seeing her step away from that to find her own happiness was one of the biggest joys of the film. No, it wasn't a fucking big joy in the film, it was just goddamn annoying. The way she suddenly realizes, oh, without Joker to protect me, I'm all on my own. She had a reputation of her own. She doesn't necessarily need Joker to protect her all the time. Harley Quinn was not completely pathetic. But the film made her look pathetic. The film made everything look pathetic. It made women look stupid. It made Harley Quinn the most annoying thing to be seen on the big screen in a long time. And I'm almost willing to include the Charlie's Angels movie in that. Almost. I mean, it's like, oh. And Woke Fate doesn't go far behind. I'll be back. Jesus fucking Christ. This makes me so depressed. I don't mind women finding their own happiness, but Harley Quinn is a terrible person. No one wants her to be happy, they want her to be in prison, or dead, or at least making a film that was worth watching. In December, Yan offered a similar explanation of her pitch to Collider. She mentioned the sizzle reel and also a pitch deck she put together. #MeToo was firmly on her mind too. I put together like a pitch deck that I just had all my thoughts about aesthetics of the film and of the world. And then I also kind of created a sizzle reel. But it wasn't like a sizzle reel where it just was like, here's a reference and here's another reference and here's another reference. But to me, the story is super compelling and personal to me because it was all about emancipation, about women sort of like almost being competitive with one another and bring each other down. Well, women tend to bring each other down. That's why they're very, very critical of each other. A lot more critical than men are. Men are willing to look at women and think, yeah, she's hot. And then see a slightly larger, more curvy woman and go, yeah, she's hot. And then see a very slim woman and say, yeah, she's hot. Because men are kind of less picky than women. Women like to look at other women and criticize them because they're not quite like they are. Or because they're hotter than they are. Or because they're fat and ugly. But also because of our own inabilities. I think to feel so powerless and like the stranglehold that is the patriarchy. And so I feel like, oh God, can you say like more? And so I feel like I very much have gone through that arc myself. And I've seen it with especially, I think, set against the backdrop of like #MeToo and what has been happening in our industry in the past few years. So that definitely infiltrated its way into my pitch as well. So that for me this film was, maybe there should be a like in there, she seems to have missed an extra like. So that for me this film was so much more than a superhero film about like, and the first girl gang film or anything of that like. But it really was just compelling like narrative and theme to it that is very very personal to me like. I'm sorry I added a few extra likes there. And that kind of made it sound a bit disjointed. But I really don't care. Because that was very annoying to read. It was so disjointed, I'm surprised this woman could even make a film. No wonder the film actually felt so disjointed and all over the place. Especially after reading that, I can understand. YouTube's Yellow Flash, who refers to Birds of Prey as a trash fire. It was a dumpster fire. It was one of those bin fires that you see tramps hanging around. It was absolutely terrible. Offered commentary on Yan's reel and the story of his latest video. He was stunned that the movie was made, given its estimated $97 million budget, because of what amounts to a montage of unrelated material. It's just a load of gibberish and crap, and I cannot believe they gave her nearly $100 million to make this film that is lucky to, if it gets 250 million in the end. Maybe eventually the Blu-rays will get it up there, but I can't imagine it will. Absolute bollocks. He added, Hollywood and theatres are dying because crap like Birds of Prey is what's being foisted on moviegoers who increasingly refuse to go to the movies. And this is true. Every time I go to the movies to see any film at the minute, it doesn't matter what film it is, even the films that are actually really good, like Ford vs Ferrari, I go to the cinema and the cinema is almost empty. I've seen a lot of films in the cinema and the cinema is nearly always empty. I remember when I was a kid, the cinema used to be jammed full of people. Really, really did. And it's just getting very sad that Hollywood, and not just Hollywood, other areas like I think the British film industry too, just aren't interested in actually catering to the people that want to go to the cinema. All they're interested in catering to is their agenda. They really don't give a damn anymore. And unfortunately, it shows. It shows up clear as day. It's like a white fuck you on a black background. Birds of Prey was praised by critics and audiences who saw it, some for its themes, others for its romping action. The film has a 78% score on Rotten Tomatoes, but performed badly at the box office. It was outgrossed by the following its release, Sonic the Hedgehog, in only 4 days. The film was written by Christina Hodson under the close supervision of its co-producer and star Margot Robbie. Hodson is working on other scripts for DC films, including Batgirl. That's a film that no one's going to go see. Well, that's sad. And it did say that it scored 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's go have a quick look at that. 78%. That's actually a pretty good score. I mean, out of 10, that's what? It's a 7.8. People think this film is a 7.8, and yet it can't even make its money back, which is a good example that Rotten Tomatoes is broken. If we look at the top critics, they only gave it 65%. So, yeah, we're getting there. That's closer to the mark. But the audience score is what concerns me. It's got this verified audience crap, which I really don't understand. Just give us all audience. I'm glad they have a tab here for all audience, but it doesn't help anything. It goes down to 73%. That means that most people think this film is a 7.3. These are just classic examples that Rotten Tomatoes is broken. It's no longer fit for purpose. I used to come here and look at the audience score, and actually the audience score works, but only years and years later. If you come back to this audience score, say in another 3 years, it'll probably be down where it deserves to be, about 45%. There's got to be something going on with Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, if we go to IMDb, we can see it's got a 6.5. It's still overcooked because there's probably going to be a bunch of people in it that threw 10s in here. There's going to be a bunch of people that threw 1s in here. There aren't going to be as many honest reviews and honest scores as it should have. But then if we have a look at Metacritic, we get a far more accurate picture of what this film should be. A 5.7. That's actually reasonably fair. It's still too high, because a film that's 5.7 I would look at and think, yeah, I'll watch that. But after having watched Birds of Prey, you know it's not worth it. It's not something you want to see twice. It's not something that you'd go out of your way to see. And as far as I'm concerned, a 5.7 is above average. 5 is average. 5.7, that's above average. It's something that you think, yeah, I could watch that. But that would be a mistake. This film is trash. It should never have been made, and we're all going to forget about it very, very quickly once stories like this disappear, which they will very soon. Anyway, this has been Movies Suck saying don't watch this film again. Stop promoting this film. Stop talking about this film. I want to stop talking about this film. Please, directors, producers, and anyone else involved, you, Margot Robbie too, go do something with an ensemble cast, because you don't seem to be able to hold a film together on your own just yet. Signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip side.